Let's rank software businesses together. Which one offer the best chance of success and which makes you go, software? More like nowhere. Just like my stand-up comedy career. Hey guys, if you enjoy content on turning software into businesses, please show this channel some love by subscribing and leaving a like. Now, if I were going to start a software business, I'll put on my Shark Tank hat and consider the following: market size, complexity of software, and monetization opportunities. And if it was the real Shark Tank, I'll also take 80% of your company for $2. But this is the Adrian Ching channel where YouTube takes 80% of my life for $2 of ad revenue. Unless you watch to the end, of course. I know competition should be on the list, but software is just inherently competitive. It's pointless when it comes to comparing software business models. Let's just briefly touch on what the three metrics mean. Market size and type is pretty straightforward. It means how many total potential users there are. How many groups are there within that combined pool? Not all groups are equal. At the top, you have B2B versus B2C, and you can narrow it even more. What income reach? Is it industry agnostic or industry specific? You want a big market and you want a market of users with money. Software complexity is less straightforward. I have a feeling most prefer to build simpler software, cheaper to build, faster to market. But that's the thing, everyone is going to feel that way, and the market gets saturated. It's hard to defend a software business from competitors when the software is so easy to build. Of course, your USP can come from other areas, but I'll prefer a bit of complexity to serve as a barrier to entry. It is a software-based business after all. Monetization opportunities. My favorite topic, how to make money. Software monetization can be broadly broken down into subscription and ad-based. And some business models are just better at subscriptions, while others work better with ads. Some work with both, and those would be the best ones. They're like onions. You keep peeling outer layers and there's just more onion below. Just more and more types of subscriptions and ads. The more layers of monetization a software business has, the better. Putting it all together, the perfect software business would have a massive market of rich-ass users, fairly but not impossibly complex software, and lots of opportunities for both subscription and ad-based revenue. And what the hell, it also has zero competition. I'm pretty sure that business model doesn't exist. Well, maybe crypto scams. But do I look like a crypto scammer? I'm not looking for the perfect business, I'm looking for the best. But knowing what perfect looks like, we can assess and rank other business models based on how far away they are from the ideal. So let's get to ranking. There are 6 software business models I'll be looking at. Software as a service or SaaS, mobile games, marketplaces, API-based SaaS, white labeling, and hardware plus software product. The great ones go into S tier, the good ones go into A tier, the meh one goes into B tier, and the one that will bankrupt you go into crap tier. If you skip straight to this part, you will still understand where I'm coming from. I'm very judgmental, but there's a logic to it. You'll miss out on the reason behind my reasons though, so go back and watch the beginning later. For now, are any of these software businesses S tier? Let's see, starting with the most obvious one, software as a service. Yes, it's S tier. What's there to think about? The market for SaaS isn't just huge, it's huge and ready to pay. There are hundreds of billions of dollars that you can tap into if you show proper value and solve the right problem. And depending on what problem, you can access B2B markets. And if you have the choice, B2B is where the deep pockets are. Clients pay well and stick with the same provider unless you really f***ing suck. So don't. Listen to your users and iterate your SaaS based on commercially sensible requests. Eventually, you have something unique that keeps them and others with you. And with monetization, you have so many options to experiment with. You can do subscriptions, you can do ads plus freemium, you can do pay as you go. There's a reason why it's a go-to option for so many founders. SaaS is S tier. My team and I at Upside Studio help non-technical entrepreneurs grow past $5 to $10 million in annual revenue with custom software. We've worked with over 30 leading brands across industries. These businesses were stuck where no ready-made solution on the market solved their problem. To continue growing, they had to make their own solution. If your business is also currently stuck at this 5 to 10 million level and you want to explore custom solutions, let me help. There's a link in the description to sign up for a free, no strings attached strategy session. We'll dissect your current constraint together and you get an honest opinion about whether custom software is your answer. And if yes, we decide if we can work together. If it's not, you just save yourself from a very big investment with no ROI. Apply through the link and we'll be in touch. I'm only taking 3 of these calls per month and it's first come, first serve. So if you want to work with me, apply now. Back to the video. Mobile games. The market for mobile games is huge, but not as big as SaaS. And you're cut off from the B2B side because with a game, you're limited in terms of what problems you solve. It's really just 2 things: curing boredom or creating the demand. Number 1 is making something people play while taking a dump. Easier but very competitive. Number 2 is creating a full-fledged game that people with dedicated time to learning and mastering, harder and very competitive. Game design theory is its own thing, and from a software architecture perspective, I would say it's harder to execute than the average SaaS. It might be my own bias. With SaaS, I think it's 100% about the outcome. With games, the journey is just as important. Your users need to have fun along the way. Monetization-wise, you're looking at ads and in-app purchases. Ads will be the main source for the average game to cure boredom, so you'll need a lot of daily traffic. People poop every day though, so that's fine. If you want to build an immersive game, then in-app purchases are the way. And you might like to know that Mobile Legends make $180 million from in-app purchases in 2023. Overall, I would say the mobile games business model's biggest strength is its massive market, but it's hurt by being limited to just selling fun and no B2B audiences. I'll put it in B tier, smaller total market, and B2C is just not my cup of tea. Marketplaces. I'm not a fan of the marketplace business model. In fact, it made my list of 4 difficult software businesses to avoid. Yes, the market for the right marketplaces can be huge. And as the marketplace owner, you have all the monetization options of a SaaS founder. You can make it a subscription, you can make it pay as you transact, you can spam ads like no tomorrow. It's a damn marketplace. People are expecting to see ads. So far, sounds good, right? Big market, lots of monetization options. 2 issues. Building marketplace apps suck. Basic marketplaces have 0 tech barrier to entry. Every no-code app builder has a marketplace template. So the moment yours makes money, a million copycats will come and everyone races to the bottom. And if you want to build a custom marketplace like Chrono24 for watches or Custom for cars, they are complex and need a ton of time and effort to build. And even if you have the resources to go custom, you'll run into the problem. Number 2, the network effect. A marketplace needs enough sellers to sell and buyers to buy. But buyers want sellers before they come. Sellers want buyers before they come. If you have neither to start with, neither will come. The only way I see this working are, you've got industry connections, you operate in a very niche space, or you just have millions to throw at user acquisition. And how many of us can say we fit even one of those requirements? So I'm putting marketplaces in crap tier. Just build a SaaS. API-based SaaS. A normal SaaS is accessed through its user interface. An API-based SaaS doesn't have its own interface. Instead, a user connects it to their own platforms to use it. Sometimes it's both, like Google Maps. It's got its own user-facing interface that normies can use, but a business can integrate the Google Maps API into their website, their mobile app, whatever they want. And now they have a working map on their site or app. There are SaaS that only exist as API, for example, Twilio. For me, API-based SaaS are the opposite of mobile games. Where mobile games are exclusively B2C, only B2B buyers will be interested in a software with no built-in interface. And even then, not all businesses. How many business owners do you know are comfortable with integrating APIs by themselves? So when you go API only, you're limiting your pool of total addressable buyers. And not necessarily in a bad way, because it usually means the business is of a certain size. That's why they can afford engaging developers to handle API integrations, and they prefer to integrate everything into their own platform. Plus, it's cheaper to build an API-based SaaS since the front end can be a lot simpler than the traditional counterpart. Users don't need your front end to use your features. They just need it to monitor their usage or test out your API. That's what you get with Twilio too. And just like normal SaaS, you can address any business problem. It's not just about fun or pooping like a mobile game. I'll put API-based SaaS in A tier because you do miss out on B2C markets for this. White labeling. Remember the saying, in a gold rush, the one that get rich are those selling shovels? I see white labeling that way. When you build a basic white label software product, you're building a template for others to buy or license so they can customize it with their own branding. I mentioned how you can have your own marketplace in an hour, right? It's because of platforms like this, you can buy a blank marketplace template and customize it with your colors, your logo, and ultimately your own products. And it's not just marketplaces. Commonly, white label software includes learning management system, content management system, marketing platforms. Basically, if more than one user needs it, it can be white label. Again, B2B only market, but a very big market because you are targeting smaller businesses and entrepreneurs who don't have the resources to build their own custom solution. So you'll be looking at low price, high volume sales. From a complexity standpoint, I think it's a bit of a headache because you still own a platform and your users who are the business owners, they are going to grow at the different rates. So you'll have different requests and won't be the easiest to manage. For monetization, subscription will be your primary revenue stream. You can experiment with annual, monthly, lifetime, and the market size means you will see decent revenue at the right price. White label platforms can also offer to handle customizations for users for an additional fee. Very common with no-code app builders. Take DraftBit for example. It does add an extra layer of complication. If your experts don't deliver good work or clients are unrealistic and demand refunds, you're stuck in the middle. For me, white labeling in its purest sense is removing yourself from like this. But if you want more money, you gotta put in more work. I'll put white labeling in B tier. It's a pain to manage long-term compared to normal SaaS. But if you plan to ignore your users, it goes into S tier for a month, then crap tier when they all leave. Now, the last business model. Hardware plus software products. This includes any business where you take a normally non-digital device and you make it digital. Sometimes it can mean building an IoT app for electrical devices. Sometimes it means renting a desirable physical device. Sometimes it's a purpose-built piece of hardware and software to power it, aka a phone. But for me, no better example than Ring, a doorbell camera connected to a user's phone. It allows them to see who's at their door without actually having to look through the peephole. Or rather, it's digitized the peephole. I first saw Ring being pitched on Shark Tank, where the founder, Jamie, was valuing his business at 600 million. I remember thinking, are you mad? So did the sharks, and Jamie didn't get a deal. In 2018, he sold Ring to Amazon for $1 billion. So depending on the product, your market is huge and it could be both B2B and B2C. And monetization options are very interesting because you charge a retail price for the physical product and charge a subscription for the software. And you can sell them upgraded versions of the product. There's been 8 different versions of Ring doorbells. I'm sure users bought more than one type. And having a physical product is a huge barrier to entry. I would love to put hardware plus software in S tier, but you're also victim to that barrier of entry. So I'll put it in A tier. Once again, putting it all together, looking at the tier list, I'm happy. SaaS is in S tier, API-based SaaS and hardware plus software businesses are in A tier, mobile games and white labeling are in B tier, and our good friend marketplaces are in crap tier. Sounds about right. So does this mean SaaS is the only good business model? No, this is all just my opinion. But I think we all already know the SaaS business model rocks. I think in addition to SaaS, ask yourself what problem could be solved through a white label platform or an API-based SaaS, aka headless SaaS. These are very valid business models with high monetization opportunities. And if you have only ever considered digital solutions, hybrid products like Ring might make you reconsider. You could be the first person to create fried chicken with IoT capabilities. I suppose you first have to check whether there's any demand for an IoT fried chicken. To do that, I recommend checking out my guide to finding $1 million SaaS and app ideas. Where do you look and what do you look for? I cover all that and more in the video. Please subscribe and give this video a like and tell me if you disagree with any of my rankings. You're wrong, but I want to hear you out anyway. Thanks for watching and let's find you your $1 million idea. Cheers guys!